Approximately 3 years had passed since that operation. Judy visited Justine at the lab. She reviewed the results of Operation Curtain Call again. Maestra and Sheena had escaped. However, several elite members were absent at that time, particularly codename Carmen. Judy paid extra attention because that shadow was essentially the counterpart of Alice from another world. In a certain area, a CSE escalated to level 4. The fighters handling the CO, level 4, were being pushed back. The Maze Division, except for Ludmilla, arrived to take over the battle against the CO Category 4. Alex led the formation of the Maze strategy. When they engaged in battle, a dimensional jump also occurred. It was codename Moderator. Moderator was a considerably strong robot for the Maze Division to handle because everyone in the division, except the leader Ludmilla, was not a counter. They were in a predicament, having to engage 2 strong enemies and some humanoid robots summoned by Moderator simultaneously. As Moderator charged forward, Alice arrived to help the Maze Division. She came at the right time, sending Moderator flying with her fist and aiding the Maze Division. After an intense fight, Moderator, knowing it would not survive, activated its self-destruct code. The explosion would surely kill everyone in the vicinity. Alice tried to save everyone. She managed to detonate Moderator mid-air, far from the surface. Afterwards, Justine began to examine its remains. Historically, Moderator was a project to manufacture annihilators that could automatically fight in the CounterSide. It could also perform dimensional jumps using an Eternium drive. However, the project was abandoned because even robots would get damaged by the corruption rays in the CounterSide. After examining Moderator, she collected an Avesta drive, a technology to produce energy from corruption rays, something the current administration was still unable to do. Upon completing the report that some organization with more advanced technologies existed, Alice decided that their division would investigate this further and take down more hostile beings like Moderator. On the other side, Judy was on a communication line with Cardenas commander, Sid. They were discussing continuing Operation Curtain Call and completely destroying the Philharmonic Hall's core. If the core destroyed, the dimension would collapse. The Kilofoth game would soon begin, and Sid wanted the administration's forces to focus on that. He had already submitted the plan to Hive Control and invited some members of the Yaksha division for the Operation Troubleshooting, the follow-up to the operation from 3 years ago. She agreed to join this operation. A few days later, Alice heard about this operation from Pio Vargas and Sid. She wanted to ask if it was wise for Judy to still go. The schedule Operation Troubleshooting and the new Moderators incident was clashing. However, Judy and people that she had selected remained firm in her choice to follow Cardenas. Furthermore, the Maze Division and Camelot Division would join as additional reinforcements if Cardenas alone wasn't enough. Alice did not need to postpone her plan to destroy Moderators, or so Judy thought. They both divided the people. Then, Alice began searching for second Moderators from the dimensional ship. A Moderator indeed appeared in the search area, and Alice descended to the CounterSide. This time, Alice did not let it activate its self-destruction code, and they were able to collect the remains without damaging them too much. After the mission, Alice and Justine were just having a leisure talk in the ship. Sadly, when they made it back to the normal side, something terrible happened. Monica reported that a round of bombardment had hit the ship from the atmosphere. The ship, having lost its thruster, was falling down. Alice tried to save everybody again. She got out of the ship and put in a tremendous effort as a counter to prevent the ship from nosediving directly into the ground. She managed to save the ship, but was the one who got injured instead. The Maze Division also received the same news from Monica. In fact, the round of bombardment had already attacked all ships in the normal side. Maze tried to make contact with Cardenas, who was still at the Philharmonic Hall. From the communication, everything Sid had planned was now in chaos. Judy, her division, and Cardenas were dying. Judy knew the probability of making it out alive was close to none. She saw flashbacks of her time in the administration, Lionel, and even the Yaksha division. After regaining consciousness, Alice could not stay in bed and wanted to save everyone at the Philharmonic Hall. Justine said it was impossible, as many ships that had tried to jump to variable depth had been bombarded from the sky. Other ships that could still jump were also on standby in the normal side. That was when the administrator greeted Alice. He wanted Alice to take a look at the corrupted satellites in the atmosphere. The administrator then prepared a small ship, built based on Soyuz, to send Alice to the atmosphere. The name of that ship was GAP-13. With that ship, she could fly to the atmosphere. Before taking off, Justine equipped Alice with an astrodrive, an Abesta drive designed by Justine specifically for Alice. In the atmosphere, surprisingly, what she found was not corrupted satellites as what Monica relayed. It was a pale bluish ship. To be precise, it was a ship that looked like a bird, controlled by the Interstellar Alliance. Seeing that from camera, Ludmilla told Alice to return to Earth, but she refused. Her division at the Philharmonic Hall might die, and she insisted to destroy it. She continued the mission. The ship she was flying then collided with the target. She began to investigate the massive ship. During the investigation, security that controlled the ship or Exodus fleet, Simurg, was activated. As an AI operating the Exodus fleet, it activated the humanoid robots that would fight Alice. Alice had seen these robots before once. It was during the first moderator incident that self-exploded 3 years ago. Alice immediately realized this strange ship was the mastermind behind the moderator incidents and also the one that had bombarded the dimensional ships in the normal side area. Without a second thought, Alice used the astrodrive and destroyed the ship. Simurg began to communicate with Alice. However, Alice did not care at all about what Simurg was saying, as it sounded like nonsense to her. After the ship's reactor was destroyed, Alice contacted Lyudmila. She wanted to convey to the surface side that she had done it. Exodus fleet was falling down after Alice had attacked the reactor. Communication line was still intermittent due to the corruption ray. However, at least the news that Alice had successfully opened a path for reinforcement conveyed to the normal side. Ludmilla relayed this to Liam Burnett and Hildai. With this, the 3 reinforcement divisions, Fenrir, Camelot, and Maze, could perform a dimensional jump to the Philharmonic Hall. They could catch up with the Cardenas and Yaksha divisions in Philharmonic Hall. Amidst the chaos, Alice noticed a presence of a humanoid robot nearby. It was the Exodus fleet's robot escort fighter. It had the look of a girl, carried a pair of sword, and had a white leer. It was Simurg again. That robot that was just summoned immediately began spouting nonsense into Alice's ear. Alice disliked everything Simurg said about selecting mankind, testing humanity, and severing the limbs of humans that ain't vital so that humanity could fit into the Exodus fleet. Alice decided to ignore the Simurg's ramblings, and Simurg engaged Alice in the battle inside a falling ship. Alice's battle with the Simurg was over. Alice was unable to escape and was about to crash to the ground along with the remains of the Simurg and the Exodus fleet. Justine ran outside and watched the explosion fall beautifully from the sky, the debris of the Exodus fleet falling like a meteor shower. Through the communication channel, Hildai confirmed the end of the troubleshooting operation. The elite members and Maestras had been neutralized, all divisions in the Philharmonic Hall would return, and the other divisions on the normal side would continue tracking the members of the Elysium Philharmonic. Hildai expressed her deep appreciation for Alice's efforts. In Chapter Carnival, the detailed results of Operation Troubleshooting are explained even further. Cardenas lost 70% of his troops in the Operation Troubleshooting. Cardenas' division commander Sid and Alice Braidwood from Yaksha were killed in action, but his sister, Pio Vargas, or Montagne, the Cardenas deputy commander, ended up survived. Montagne blamed Hildai and Fenrir before returning normal side for the misfortune her brother and the division had experienced. Niquidia and its members were defeated and began an evacuation. The administration believed they had been wiped out. This was confirmed by Nikidia's attempted escape, and the Nikidia's core had been damaged severely. She had also exploded in Gronia. The administration assumed Nikidia and all its elite members were dead, although in reality not all were. In the epilogue 20 years later, Judy survived the hellish Operation Troubleshooting. She can't remember much about her days with the Yaksha members. She was devastated because the administration nearly lost the Quillifoth game and was disbanded. In fact, she was asleep during that time. She has now awakened and begun exploring the world in search of the remains of the Interstellar Alliance. She retrieves the Simurg's remains. Later in the future, the Simorg and her AI are taken into the workshop of Future at War. It is a research institute managed by Dr. Ember. She is the head researcher at Future at War.